Good morning, my lilies. Um, this is part 2 of my video about Lauren Matthias and the whole stalking saga. I wasn't going to make a part 2, but I thought I just needed to add a couple of things. Now, Lauren, watch part 1 if you want to recap. But in her long 9-hour live, which was her reply basically to all her detractors, and also basically her way of getting back at Christina for what she believes Christina did wrong. In that 9-hour lives, a couple of things stood out for me. One of the things that stood out to me was Lauren's insistence on calling Christina her stalker. Okay, somebody's counted. It was between 400 and 500 times in 9 hours. She called her a stalker or her stalker. Now, that, in my legal opinion, would amount to defamation, because Christina was never found to be a stalker. Yes, there was a temporary stalker injunction granted against her, but that was ex parte, and that judge had not had a chance to hear both sides of the story. And so the judge never declared her to be a stalker. He did grant an ex parte injunction, which is quite common in these types of cases. And he did never ever assess the evidence and never made a determination one way or the other. And so calling somebody a stalker is defamation, okay? Because stalker means that you've broken the law, and if you accuse somebody of breaking the law when they haven't, or it hasn't been proved that they have, that could very well amount to defamation. And the only reason that Lauren would be saying that would be to bring Christina down in people's estimations. Oh, I'm on a road and it's a bit noisy, waiting for my bus, sorry. So there's that. And the fact that Christina has not gone after Lauren for defamation doesn't mean that she will not. But I get the impression that Christina is a bit more of a private person, and she really doesn't want to drag things out any more than she has to. Also, it's expensive, but she might get somebody who would take on the case at no charge, which if I was in that jurisdiction, I certainly would. So there's that. Then the second thing was that I saw a snippet from that live where Lauren had compared herself to Charles Vallow. Yes, I feel like Charles Vallow is what she said. Going around and people not believing me. Charles Vallow was murdered by his wife. And so Lauren is saying she's feeling unsafe and she feels like Charles Vallow. So not only is she calling Christina a stalker, she is saying from that Christina, she believes Christina has murderous intent. Christina is apt to kill her, which is absolutely wild and irresponsible and in no way supported by any of the facts of the situation. Christina has never been violent. Christina has never threatened violence, and that is just wild and irresponsible. And I will try and find that clip and post it, link it in the description and in my pinned comment. The issue is people like Lauren, who've got money, obviously, who can afford to pay lawyers, keep getting away with this nonsense. And I don't blame Christina for not taking action against her for this, because we've seen how nasty things have got already. Let me just pause you. Sorry, noisy bus. Yeah, so it's frustrating that Lauren is not held to account by Christina for her wild things that she said, because that will give her some kind of idea that she is the moral authority and that she's right and that she can continue to treat people like this. But one day, Lauren is going to come up against somebody who is not afraid to take her on. And I'm not saying Christina is afraid to take her on. Look, Christina took her on. Christina went public with those TikTok videos when nobody else would. And there's a lot of complaints come out about Lauren subsequently that have come out of the woodwork. But yeah, just listen to the snippet of the video where she says, I feel like Charles Vallow. That is just absolutely wild and insane. To me, that's I'm not a psychologist, but that is mentally unbalanced and unstable. And also just trying to uh, make things more dramatic than they are for the sake of clicks and views. I mean, you can't get much more dramatic than a 9-hour live crying and complaining and slobbering. And most people didn't watch it. Because it was just ridiculous. A pity party of the highest order. Anyway, so I don't blame Christina for not taking further action against Lauren. Lauren's actions till now have not indicated a very stable person. But one day I believe that somebody that gets frustrated enough, has deep pockets enough, and is willing to prove a point will take Lauren on. If Lauren doesn't start behaving in a more acceptable way. And Hidden True Crime did lose thousands and thousands of viewers after Lauren did this injunction application against Christina. And they've gained back most of those views and most of those subscribers. And most of the subscribers will be people who, when they search a crime like, I don't know, Richard Allen, Dolphar murders, they will find Hidden True Crime will come up in their algorithm, and they will watch, not because they were a supporter of Lauren, but just because that came up in their feed. So hopefully that's the last word on the Lauren and Christina saga. I admire Christina's grit. I admire her determination, and I do think that we should stand up against bullies. In fact, that was one of the reasons why I became a lawyer, because like so many, I had been bullied in my childhood, and being a lawyer is one way that I can help others not be bullied later in life. So you have a fantastic day, my friends, and we'll talk about something more interesting next time, maybe Richard Allen's appeal. Let me know what you would like to hear. Stay well and stay safe.